Or was it an airship?
Good
Find
point.
out today.
Point.
All right. We're here with our developer Let's Play on DreamcoilTV. Joining me as always is Darith and Decadent. And Darith can introduce our developer guest for Skyborn today.
Hi, boys and girls. So today we have Phil and Brittany. Say hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
So before we get in the game, why don't we talk about each of your roles in the development of the game, and then we can talk about how it kind of came to be.
Okay, well, this is Phil. I did pretty
I
much.
thought you were Brittany. Sorry.
I know people get us confused all the time.
So I did the development, the level design, and the music mainly. So.
Yep, and I was the artist and writer.
And I've got to say, like when me and Flawless were playing it in Bedtime Stories, because we did a full series of that, which was actually 6 episodes.
Yes.
So about 6 hours to beat the game, people, in case you wanted to know how long it's going to take. One of the things that I think it was in the first episode, and Brittany, I know you said you watched 2 of them, was I mentioned to Flawless that it was really good writing.
Yeah, I did see that part, and it was like, oh, because
Because
it was funny. Because I saw you'd like joke around and say your own reaction to a line, and then the character would sometimes say it.
yeah,
And after a while, you're kind of like, hey, that keeps happening. It was pretty funny.
because it was exactly how you would expect it to happen, right? Like a lot of times you like read dialogue in RPGs and you're like, yeah, that doesn't sound authentic, or how someone would like respond to it.
Yeah, doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah.
But with this one, I felt like every time I was expecting a response, which wasn't a bad thing. It's not like it's telegraphed. It made sense to me.
And there was humor behind it because it made sense that they would say that. So it was funny to actually see it.
And you still
Yeah, I
don't
always like it when the characters, like, if a bad guy says something to him, they're like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Screw you.
No, it's really good
Yeah.
actually. And speaking of the music, here's the funny thing. I played a little bit of Skyborn on my own, but because of how we do the series, I hear none of the sound. So Deca actually brought it to me, like, if you listen to the music, well, Deca, go ahead about the music for a minute. Wow.
I played a lot of Suikoden. It's like one of the first JRPGs that I played, and because I only had a PlayStation. I mean, there was Final Fantasy and all that before that, but Suikoden was the one that really had the kind of music that kept me wanting to stay at the title menu, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Just so you can listen to it. Yeah, so I like the fully orchestrated music, but I was just wondering how in the world you get all that done. I mean, like, I know it's a 6-hour game, but shit, it's a
Well,
lot.
I don't know. I was actually not working full time during this, so if that helps.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. But wow, you did a great job, man.
Thank you. I actually come from a musical background, and so it's not like I had to learn a new skill set or install new stuff. I kind of already had the rig set up and all the software, hardware. So for Skyborn's soundtrack, it was really just a matter of doing it.
Right. Nice.
How many tracks were there for the soundtrack?
Ooh, good question. I don't know, maybe 20?
Because what it was he had Deca had showed me the link to the YouTube, which had the song Ancient Secrets. And so, obviously, my next thought was, well, is there a soundtrack OST? Because a lot of times when you release a game on Steam, you can usually download, or you get like a plus OST version, you know? And I found that there wasn't. What the hell?
We should make one.
What's
Yeah, our Steam setup is kind of bare bones.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, if you want to listen to the rest of the tracks, you have to leave their channel, the Dragon Dance games. I don't see it on Dragon Dance itself.
It looks like we made some more work for you.
That's right.
Just
Because I know I want to talk about your game that's coming out next later, but we'll get into that. We'll see if
Right.
there's an OST coming. If there wasn't, maybe you'll be feeling
Yeah.
guilty to have one.
Yes, maybe we can
and have
guilt
a
you into
package
one.
deal.
Yeah.
The Skyborn music, man, you can make some money
Yeah.
off that. A 2
So-
for 1 deal. But yeah.
So let's get into the game now.
But I like this.
Oh, the opening is very nice, but the game is just good. So let's show some of that.
So how long did it take to develop the game?
How long did it take? I think 4 months is about from when we started going, okay, let's get serious about this. Although we kind of, I feel like the first 2 months we kind of just, back and forth a couple emails and we're like, yeah, it'd be cool. And then 2 months in, we were like, okay, focus. Like I took some time off work and we got really serious. And
Yeah.
it felt really quick all of a sudden.
I would say maybe like 4 months of dithering and just like brainstorming and of course Brittany already kind of had the script written out either in her head or on paper.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, I had some idea in my head for a while because, like, I did some webcomics before and stuff, so I always had a couple story ideas kicking around. And this one, basically, I had the opening where it's like Clarette, her brother, and Corwin, and that was like all I knew about, and the rest kind of came as we went.
And did go ahead.
having a script like that made it super fast because I literally just went through it line by line and built the world and just copied the text over. Normally it would just be me doing the writing and the mapping and stuff like that, so that would take twice as long at least.
And I should ask, because since you mentioned emailing, are you guys near each other? Or how did you guys, I guess, meet if you weren't? Or
Oh,
I'm
well,
just curious.
we're actually near each other now. Like, Phil moved over to the West Coast, but at the time, where were you? You were like,
Iowa.
okay, I was gonna say Missouri. I'm like, I know it was somewhere out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, we totally did it remotely, and we just did a lot of emailing, did a few Skype calls, and it worked out. And we actually had met because for Phil's other games, he hired me to do some of the character art.
I was going to mention that because I was looking at the other ones and I could see kind of a style
Yeah. Yeah,
prevalent through both.
I'm like, well, some of those were quite a few years ago now.
Yeah, that's kind of how this game got to be is for Deadly Sin 1 and 2, Brittany did character art, and then I don't really know what made us decide on I think it was just a random whim. Hey,
Yeah, I think you brought it up. You were like, hey, how would you feel about, like, making a game together? And I was like, well, that'd be cool, but I need 100% creative control because I'm crazy. And you're like, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
for me.
So what inspired the character designs? Anything, or it just boiled up from within?
I had a really old sketch, like, when I first came up with the idea, and, like, I kind of knew it was this steampunky world, like steampunk fantasy, and I knew there were, like, these dragon people,
Yeah.
and then the humans. And after that, I just did a bunch of sketches until it started feeling like, oh, that looks like the right character.
Yeah, because
Chaska's design was actually one of the ones where I drew one sketch, and I was like, well, I like that, and I drew a bunch of other ones, and I kept coming back to the first one, and that's actually the one that is in the game.
nice. Yeah, because I noticed steampunk is not something you see all that often anymore.
Yeah, it's strange
Sadly.
because I feel like it's really popular, but it hasn't quite made it into games.
Yeah, once in a great while.
Yeah.
So it was a nice change to have a steampunk RPG out there. That's actually what caught my eye at first, was something a little different. So.
Yeah, there is a lot of fantasy, which I love.
Me too.
But we were like, maybe we should try something a little outside the box.
Right.
Just a little, because it does skew pretty fantasy. Like, the further it goes, it's kind of like, oh yeah, there's totally magic.
Yeah.
Was the what about the sprites? Were they custom made?
The ones you see now?
Like Clarette there.
Yeah, those are kind of made from templates, and I call it like Frankenspriting, like taking little pieces from other ones and putting together.
No, that's okay, because what happened was we actually have sprites of ours that a good friend of ours and a viewer, Game Grinder, made. he actually kind of did it, kind of the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, he's in Astro Chat right now. He kind of did the same thing to make little custom sprites of us, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why her hair doesn't exactly match, which I saw on your guys' earlier playthrough, and I was like cringing, like, oh my god.
Why is her hair?
Why is it
Her
not-
shoulders?
Yes,
Her
that
hair's
is
too long.
a Daria thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I remember this. 'Cause we were doing a developer series when we were playing this. And now it's like, I can just see it now. It's gonna be one game like, this is a fucking disgusting game. I can't believe this is terrible. Oh, and then like 2 minutes later, oh, we're gonna have they're gonna be on. Can we delete that off our YouTube until later? They come on. It's like, oh, so I saw your YouTube video.
I saw what you said about me. Yeah.
And this awkwardness, or great stream, whichever one, really. I think Corwin. Did Corwin have a hair thing? I can't remember. Anyway.
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
has a little ponytail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't have the ponytail on the character.
He doesn't have one, although it is really short.
Darren hair.
You got a game coming soon, so you know.
Fix
saying.
this shit. Yeah.
I didn't say it. You said it. Oh God, I'm friendly, aren't I? Anyway, very nice man. Hang up. What a bastard.
So there's a lot of themes in this too, like slavery, kidnapping, arranged marriage. Was that planned, or did you just decide to add them as you wrote? Was like kind of that conscience? Yeah.
The way that I tend to think about writing is like you come up with the character and then you think, what is the worst thing that this character thinks could happen to them, and then you do that.
Nice.
Wow.
And like they're like, oh god, you know, Claudette actually liked her life. She was really happy, and what could ruin it? Losing the shop, then being forced against her will to do anything. 'Cause she's really, you know, willful.
Right.
So it's kind of how she deals with all those things coming at her.
Mm-hmm.
When you were developing the game, Phil, a gentleman asked off of Reddit, Gamester X23. He actually had a bunch of questions, but one of them was there any custom systems that weren't built into RPG Maker that you had to kind of custom create, or were you able to do what you need to do with the tools you had?
Yeah, great question. We used quite a few custom scripts. That said, I would have wanted to use more looking back, but you know, like this menu here, you know, is a little bit customized from what you get out of the box. Same with the battle system. That's very different from what you get out of the box.
Yeah. Like the threat thing is completely new, right? Like that's something that RPG Maker supplies.
Augment system is a scripted system. I don't think I've seen in other games. So, yeah, good question. I mean, there's some stuff that's pretty close to what you get out of the box. Like the skill progression system, I think, is one part where I would have wanted to do. Looking back, I think I would have wanted to do something a little bit more robust and customized, but it works for what it does.
Yeah, I still like when I played through the first time. I thought there was some neat choice, you know, basically like getting like the fruits or the upgrades and getting to choose your direction. And the threat was interesting too, because I hadn't really seen that in an RPG Maker. And lets you play around with the healing while you go, because you know you can send it all to him for a good turn. It was definitely different. It was fun.
Well, to me, like, I grew up, I was born in 81, so that makes me 33. And I grew up in I played Nintendo, but I grew up in the Super Nintendo era, obviously, and Nintendo era. And so one of my old staples was RPGs, like Final Fantasy 1, 4, 6. Well, there were 2 and 3 back then. And I feel like RPG Maker games kind of get a bad rap because of it just being RPG Maker games, you know? But to me, it's like, it's one of those few bastions out there that I can get games that I used to play. Because nowadays, you know, it's like, let's do active battle instead of turn-based. Let's do 3D instead of, you know, it's very different. So one of the questions actually from Gamester was, do you think that RPG Maker limits you in a way or makes your game feel more generic?
Well, fundamentally, no. I mean, RPG Maker doesn't hard limit you. You can do whatever you want with it as long as you have the know-how with coding and scripting. There are some things about this version of RPG Maker that you can't get around, such as the 640 by 480 resolution. And there's a lot of Win32 API type stuff that you just simply can't port to any other medium, so it's pretty much stuck on Windows. So really, those are the only two hard limitations. I mean, RPG Maker deserves a better reputation than it has, to be honest with you, because the sky's the limit. You know, you can use a different font. You can probably make a beat 'em up in RPG Maker if you wanted to. So
I think what makes it gives it the bad rap is a lot of times when you're looking at RPG Maker games, they kind of have that. Like your game is very different because you can sense the quality in it, right? Even looking at let's say the character designs or even the title screen, like the logo, the drawings of Claret, the kind of detail and the kind of shading that's on it. It has a very different look, and even with the spriting, it looks a lot more professional than some other RPG Maker games. Because sometimes you can look at an RPG Maker game and you know, or it's using the same sprites as other games do because there's no customization to the sprites. Right. Like I think there's a game on iOS called Ash, which I played, which is really good, but I think it was made of RPG Maker sprites, but it was still that good. You know what I mean? Was RPG Maker the only thing you used, and was there any ideas behind any other engines you wanted to use, or is that kind of just basically what you were going to go for?
We were pretty much dead set on RPG Maker for this one.
Yeah, and I mean, Phil had experience with it from his earlier games, so that really helped, and we were kind of like I was working at the time, and I don't remember if you had a job part of the time, Phil, or what, but we were kind of like, let's just do this the way that makes the most sense to get it done.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
And so this is the battle screen, which they're yelling at her.
At one point, we wanted to have like a side-to-side battle with animated sprites. You know, a little more like Final Fantasy VI, I think they had that.
Yeah.
But we looked at it, and to get that done would be like way too hard and take too long. And we'd probably have to like hire someone to help us.
Well,
we were like, oh, we can't do this.
Yeah, the front combat though is pretty classic. You know, it's like what was it, Arcania and
Dragon Warrior,
Dragon Warrior, and so. And the turn list is a nice addition, something I always like.
Yeah, that was kind of something that came later on in like RPGs. You didn't always see that very often until PSX.
Yeah. Well, I think like Final Fantasy X had that, but that was like way late.
Yeah.
RPG genre.
What did you? As Flawless said earlier, there's a lot of, we'll say, deep topics in the story. Where'd you get the story ideas from?
I'm not even sure. You know, like, this is going to sound really silly, but the original idea, I swear to God, I had a dream. And I woke up and I was like, that dream was super cool and would make a really great story. So I drew, like, my first sketch of it. And it was like Corwin was there, and these people were trying to get him because he was like some kind of secret prince, which I totally didn't write that part because it's silly. But I was like, I like this idea that, like, you know, he's hiding from these people who are oppressing everyone else, and it just kind of came out of that organically. And like, you know, as I wrote, things would start to come up that I'd be like, oh, actually, this is a good idea. So you go back and you rewrite and set it up a little better. And I kind of write straight ahead instead of going like, I have a theme, I'm gonna do it. I'll try and see what theme comes out of the characters, because it really is a character-driven plot.
And we also just found out why Corwin has such a pretty face.
Yes, he's very pretty.
I sympathize with him.
That's kind of a theme with all of the guys in the story. Are like, pretty guy, pretty bad guy.
Yeah, there's a certain Brittany style to the male sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess like the ugliest one would be Chaska, which is really sad.
Yeah, but she's cute. It's okay.
She's cute.
She's got the adorable going for her.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. Someone had asked if there was a walkthrough as well for the game. Although I don't remember having much of an issue getting through it.
Yeah, people have done fan walkthroughs, but I mean, not a lot of people have had trouble getting through it, you know. So.
And I mean watching Flawless. I was living vicariously through him at the time.
That's fine.
I think like towards the end, there's some hard optional battles that people have posted their strategies for, but the rest of it was not too bad.
No, it's an enjoyable walk. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to stay away from like the developer tendency to say, "Oh, this is going to be hard," and I'm going to like, you know, congratulate the people who can actually solve it. No, I wanted people to get through the story. You know.
And so the other games you've done are Deadly Sin and Deadly Sin 2, right?
Yeah.
Which I haven't played. I probably should. But I haven't.
Playing that after Skyborn is kind of like going on a roller coaster ride after flying a fighter jet. It's a little bit of a...
Well, what I'm impressed with is that you actually, by Steam's account, wrote Deadly Sin 2 first and then made Deadly Sin. Because apparently, by Steam's account, May 12th, 2014, Deadly Sin 2 came out.
Yeah.
And then on May 27th, 2015, Deadly Sin, the original, came out.
You're a time traveler, Phil.
You could have called it Deadly Sin Original Sin.
Well done.
Yeah. I'm a part-time writer.
He's just following the Star Wars style of releasing stuff.
Yeah. The next three are going to be really bad.
Buy it anyway. You know.
Yeah.
Just cash the checks. So, how long have you been? So you've been working with RPG Maker for a long time now. Which one do you like most? I know that there's some preferences for the RPG makers. Some like some versions more than others.
Oh yeah, there's there's quite a sort of a campy, culty following for each one, really. Especially for 2003, there was a illegally ripped version of it that everyone was using back in the day. And,
I remember that one. I had that.
illegal translation, rather.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still swear by 2003. I like 2003 a lot, but the one that most people are using now is RPG Maker VX Ace, which basically has the best of XP and VX put together, and also some really good parts from 2003. So you really can't beat having the ability to write Ruby scripts and customize the game that way, which 2003 does not have. So my favorite, I think, is Ace, definitely.
Game Grinder asks, so you're not going to release DLC in form of Skyborn's sadistic skirmishes? It's the RPG Maker equivalent of Dark Souls?
Well, there's a couple of sadistic battles in Skyborn.
Yeah, there's like a whole secret dungeon that's full of super battles. But you have to go looking for it, like it's not on the main path.
I didn't find it.
Yeah, we missed it.
Damn it.
I love watching Flawless suffer. God.
Yeah.
It makes me upset. They're going to find out where it is.
We could ask them.
I know it's one of the elevator options. Like, it's somehow tied to the elevator.
All right.
Yeah, there's the elevator that's kind of like a spine for the city. It's all the way to the bottom, and after finding all of the card deck, then you can go to that secret area.
What was it? What did we call that thing?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember that. It was too long ago.
The game came out in 2012.
Yeah.
Not by Steam's account. 2014.
Go home, Steam. You're drunk.
But I do know if you want the most sadistic battle in the game is it's either gonna be the secret Sayral character in the final dungeon, or hard difficulty final boss. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
I don't like difficulty. It terrifies me.
So we saw some good replies to jokes there, and her yelling, showing her strong will by yelling at the guards immediately. No restraint shown.
She's pretty emotional. You know, she doesn't really keep anything inside.
But I like the character, Colette.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of personality in like pretty much every character.
Yeah.
I think like I've always felt like, let's see, what was it? One of the few games I really got attached to characters was actually kind of related to Deca's music thing, was Suikoden 2. I remember like there's a certain part when like did you two ever play Suikoden 2 by chance?
I did not.
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
now we have even more work for you to do.
I know.
Yeah, is that the one? I just saw someone saying one of the Suikoden games was coming out on PSN.
That was 3. 3's
Okay.
coming
Sorry.
out, but 2 is still on there, I believe.
Okay. So
See,
check.
it's a phenomenal game, but I will warn you, get a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Really? Is it super hard?
It's not hard, but the game is set up to have 108 stars of destiny, and you can collect every one of them. They're characters,
It's
and
the only way you're gonna get the final complete ending, really.
you're never gonna do it. Like
Oh man.
it's not one of those games where it's like you can just like cluster F your way through it, if we will, and like figure it out. It's literally like you can recruit this character before you said see Ted at this time, but you've had to do Vess as well. And it's like there's no way you're gonna do it. It's like if you wanted all the characters, you'd have to have a walkthrough. If you want to play it, you don't have to have a walkthrough, but you're not gonna get all the characters. It
Yeah.
depends on how completionist. But there's a point in the game where the sister of your main character, I think it is, comes out and like slams you to the ground and like slams you like grabs you by like the shirt and is like slamming you onto the ground. And I still remember that moment because it's one of those moments where like the character had a lot of personality. You got attached to the character. And I'm not gonna tell anything else because stuff happens later on.
Spoilers, spoilers, sweetie, spoilers.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
Oh, the doctor's in.
Borgnine.
Okay.
You might have heard us say Borgnine a couple times. There's a game we played that was the only thing this character did was 3 dots.
Dots.
Every single time he
3
spoke.
dots.
That's all I did. So his name was Borgnine. So we just every time now, every game we play, when we see the 3 dots, there's a word for it. So it's a name.
Ellipses.
Ellipses. I want to say eclipses, but I'm like, that's not it at all.
That is those 3 dots is kind of an RPG Maker game cliche as well. Like, there's just way too many ellipses,
Yeah.
including in my own games.
Yeah. But and then
see,
the lips right there. Yeah. That's
But that's different. That's like,
yeah.
I like that because that means like it's a pause.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem I have with English is like sometimes if you do it grammatically correct, it doesn't give off the same effect.
Yeah.
I don't like writing if I'm writing something close to like how grammar is supposed to be written. Although she's pausing a
I
lot.
feel like people don't actually speak in the same way that English is correct. You know,
Right.
you use different contractions, and
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just more natural to use a lot of exclamation points and try and express it through that way. And plus, like, I did comics for a while, and that's all kinds of messed up English and
Right.
punctuation, but it feels right, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any other projects, by the way, Brittany, that you're doing? Since I hear a lot about comics and
Well, yeah,
art
those are
stuff.
kind of earlier than this. I'm not actually doing any now because my job prevents me from pretty much doing any outside work.
Oh.
So I do, you know, art conventions now and then, but that's it.
Are there any you're gonna be at soon that someone could
I-
maybe make?
I'm probably going to be at Emerald City Comic Con. I've done that one the last couple of years, and they haven't, you know, totally set up for next year because it's in the spring.
Mhm.
That's the one I usually go to here in Seattle.
Nice.
I have a big poster of Clarette's face behind me.
I want that. Right? Like I said, I really like the character designs.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
So she just got news that the shop is sold. And
I would slap him.
well, the slapping material is coming soon, I believe.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Yeah. There it is. Now you commence the slapping.
Where's the me? Where's the me?
Kidding.
I was waiting for it.
Oh no, I wouldn't sell you. I just bargained you away.
I had to force him to take you.
Yeah.
He didn't watch it at first, but I got him to.
I threw in a set of Ginsu knives and a new wrench.
A goat, some bales of hay. I don't know. You're a dowry, Clarette. Why not?
Yeah. Jake's kind of an ass.
Yeah, right?
We should come down with a samurai sword afterwards. We ran away. But
You forgot to write in the what's the worst that could happen to Jake. His sister cuts him in half with a katana.
Yeah, well, actually, it's kind of funny. Like, he's totally sidelined in the whole story, but he has this thing where he's like, I need to be a part of the world and do all this great stuff, and then he does absolutely nothing. So his dreams do not come true.
Right.
I think he becomes an item shop later.
Yeah.
So he ended up doing exactly what he's doing now, being a shop owner.
He becomes a mindless NPC.
Yeah.
Skyborn 2 coming soon.
Skyborn 2 can be the story of Jake.
I could do something terrible to Jake.
Yeah.
Kind of want to after I'm like, oh yeah, he was a jerk.
Yeah. Walks to
Something
work.
Bad things happened to him.
Walks back from work. Walks to work. Walks back from work.
I hate my life.
The realistic RPG.
NPC simulator. Stand there. Walk in place. Good job.
8 hours of mindless work, followed by dinner, followed by sleep.
You know, we're joking about this, but there's a lot of motivation in the RPG Maker community to make really realistic mechanics. Like, just, you know, you have to go get something to eat, you know, you have to sleep, and like, you know, you have to, you know, find a place to stay, and some things about real life just aren't fun.
Right.
No.
Well, I mean, at least it finally gives a use to all the bathrooms people put in games, but never have anything to do in them. You know?
It always bugs me.
Huh.
Should
It's a toilet I can't flush or find items in? What the hell?
Game Grinder says Skyborn 2 confirmed.
Yeah.
Hey, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's tough. It's tough because, like, we've had a bunch of different jobs, each of us, and, like, when I was working at a place that allowed side projects, Phil wasn't, and now it's reversed, and we're like, this is so annoying.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes life gets in the way of making great games.
Or streaming great
Sucks.
games.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem we have right now, is we work for a living.
Oh,
So.
God.
Darn that work thing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't. I'm unemployed, but that's okay.
Right now.
Right now. That happened like 6 months ago, but that's okay. I'm now choosing to work on stuff. But so let me ask about your game coming up. Ages of Etheria. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right.
Echoes of Etheria.
Oh, sorry, Echoes. Sorry, I can't read.
No problem.
And here I am talking about writing. Still good though. So, when does it due out? First of all, that's my first question. Around, if you anything you don't want to answer, just tell me to shut up.
No. I do really want to answer. I just can't. I want to say 1.5 to 2 months tops, and it'll be on Steam right away.
Nice.
Grinder, write that
What's
down. Game Grinder, write that down. It's not out in 2 months. Pitchforks.
Pitchfork.
Did you want to talk about kind of like a basic premise of it, like what it's about, or?
Yeah. So it's kind of written in the same vein as Skyborn. You know, Brittany is not actually on the project at all. She did a bunch of art for it, kind of as a commissioned artist.
Mm.
But I think that with Skyborn, Brittany did a very good job of establishing sort of a flavor or a brand for the type of games that Dancing Dragon Games makes, which is kind of this like whimsical adventure, half badass, half silly, you know.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of doing the best I can to emulate that with Echoes. So, and then Brittany's kind of been a little bit of a consultant for the writing too. Well, not a little bit, a lot. You know, I've kind of bounced ideas off of her. And
I was waiting for go a little bit.
No, it like this is
Good
legit
fight.
project.
yeah.
Videos galore.
So there's actually a third person that works with us a lot, and his name is Justin. He's kind of an expert scripter, and he did some of the more difficult stuff for Skyborn, and then he's going to be the co-creator for Echoes of Etheria.
Nice.
So, you know, with that, Echoes is going to be actually quite a bit more, I guess, technologically robust than Skyborn. It's going to have kind of, we took Skyborn and built on it a lot more. So it's going to have sort of an isometric battle system with a grid and location-based attacks, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics in that sense.
Ooh.
Wow.
So,
Yay.
Those two are moist now.
Favorite RPG.
Yay. Yay.
Moist.
You have to understand, Flawless went to 9999 and then flipped the clock and went further on tactics. He played the hell out of that, and I think Deca did as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be one of the big system things that we're going to brag about with Echoes is, you know, there's like a 3x5 grid on both sides, and you can move around, you can do area of effect attacks, you can move the enemies, you can move yourself, do formations, etc. And yeah, so I mean, it is an RPG. It is somewhat similar to Skyborn in that it's got steampunk and it's got fantasy. I would say it's got a little bit more fantasy than steampunk in terms of compared to Skyborn. So, and it's also a little bit bigger game. It's going to probably take 10 to 15 hours.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll be doing that on bedtime stories.
Yeah.
when it comes
Make sure there's characters who fit our voices. How about that?
out. Well, we'll
And we need a Frenchman.
Just put you right in the game.
I'll just
Do you need voiceover work?
love Brittany. We'll
Yeah.
commission Brittany to make. God help you, don't want to do that. What? No, I'm not Vegeta. Listen, I'm
We,
Claret.
we do need voiceover for the trailer, movie trailer. And I guess we're going to have Vegeta just narrate the...
Oh, there you go.
In a world
Yeah.
where vampires and fantasy. I don't know any of the stories, so I'm making it up as I go.
In an echo of a world of an age gone by.
Yeah.
One man or woman. Or
Not really
furry creature.
Or
I don't,
something in between.
Something with ears and a tail, maybe.
a world where cat girls and I don't know. Is the main character a female or male? I'm just curious now.
We kind of have a dual protagonist thing, a male and female.
No, it's
Nice.
Tales of Zillia kind
There's a
of thing.
cat though.
There's a
is
cat?
a cat, yeah. But it's not like a cat person. It's an actual like lion with a human's body.
Does it talk?
Knives just checked out. Knives loves cat girls.
Not
He's
sure
a-
if he's gonna really fulfill that requirement, but
Uh,
close. Check it out.
What is it? Is it a pretty kitty at least?
It's a guy.
Is it a pretty kitty at least?
Yes, he's a very handsome male cat.
what's the is there do you have like a brief synopsis of the story? Like what
Yeah.
it's gonna be about?
It's a pretty much. It kind of kicks off similar to Skyborn in that. I know this sounds extremely unique, I'm sure, but inadvertent, non-important people getting put into a situation, kind of inadvertently. You know, that's a pretty common way to kick off a story. But
A young boy in a small town with his best female friend.
yeah, like so the two main characters end up getting on a train that is actually rigged with explosives, and it's part of a big like terrorist plot, and so that kind of kicks off this whole big whimsical accidental adventure, and then that develops into like more of a grand strategy war type situation that just continues to escalate.
I feel like a lot of isometric RPG battle systems have like armies and war in them.
Yeah,
As a general rule, I feel like thinking back on it now, it seems like a common occurrence.
well, one of the things that is different about this isometric system is that
Not
you
to
can
say that it's not different. I'm not saying that. I'm not
Well-
dissing it. I'm just saying, thinking about it.
Oh yeah, totally. No, we actually allow for 15 combatants on both sides. So that's kind of deliberately designed to allow kind of these big groups of soldiers, you know.
Sounds really good, actually.
I can't wait to get it done. It's taken a while, but
How long has it been in development for?
oh, over a year. It's going to be about a year and 2 or 3 months by the time it comes out.
And you had said that Skyborn took 4 months, was it?
More like 6, I would say. 4 months of like hardcore nose to the, you know, heads down work.
Right.
Oh, by the way, kudos on showing what my level up actually increases.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a pet peeve.
pet peeve. Love it when I actually see what went up. So,
You gained a level, and I don't know what I
oh my
got.
god. Yeah. So that was the threat working out. That was the tutorial for threat right there. And I used it efficiently to save the life of the person I did not remember to heal. So. That's wonderful news! Everybody got quiet. I couldn't help it.
I almost forgot. I don't remember what I did for this, for some of these characters.
Yeah, it was the main character and was female. You did your regular voice.
That's what I do every time.
I
I'm
know.
a smart man. I'm not gonna strain my vocal cords.
Oh, are you my new chauffeur?
No. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Flawless? About the game?
I
Or
don't know.
Deca? Or Phil or Brittany?
Yeah.
Open table.
I think somebody asked if that's going to be an RPG Maker game. I can't see because it's cut off.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
The Wiz
yeah,
19.
The Wiz asked if it's going to be an RPG Maker game.
Yeah, it's going to be made in VX Ace, and more than likely it's going to be rewritten so that it can be on iOS.
Oh,
Nice.
neat.
Good call.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll open a huge market. Awesome.
How is? Oh, I have a question. How is because I've been talking to a gentleman or lady.
Or
from Diggy
lady.
Games. It's it. I don't know. Diggy Games. How did you get involved with publishing with Diggy Games?
Well, they are actually now the owner of RPG Maker, and they actually just kind of approached me out of the blue regarding publishing Skyborn. And they have sort of a deal worked out with Steam where I believe they can bypass Greenlight. So that's what Skyborn did.
Oh, I see.
So,
All right.
and fun fact, I actually ended up working for them.
Oh, really?
Are you still working for them, or you did in the past?
I did.
Cool.
Nice.
Is the next game that you're coming out with, Echoes of Etheria, going to be on other publishers or just Steam? Because Skyborn was on stuff like Desura and Shiny Loot. I think I saw it on.
Yeah,
Before this?
it's on like Big Fish Games, Desura, Gamersgate, Steam, of course. Yeah, Echoes is going to be as many places as I can get it. So
Okay, awesome. That'd be great. Good. So,
So,
I'm looking.
I
forward
noticed
to
with the
episode-
combat, with the items leveling up to basically get a specific class. Was that the class system you mentioned earlier that you wanted to do with more with, like the augment, or?
yeah, for some reason I had kind of a let's make this casual friendly design. I mean, I think it worked out pretty well for
Yes.
Skyborn. But like I come from just like Dariath, that SNES era of
Yeah.
RPGs, and I'm all about like I don't know if anyone here has played Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
But that
Job system, woo!
Yeah.
it's just a really awesome progression system, skill acquisition system. And Skyborn's is relatively simple. You just kind of eat an apple and you choose which way. And most people end up finishing the arena, which actually gives you all the skills.
Oh,
I don't think Skyborn is a game that necessarily needs a really complex skill acquisition system. So, But
I just spoiled all the other characters what they look like. So
Nice work.
that's
Is
the
there any-
tease.
Is there any job mechanics in Echoes of Etheria? You want to say that much?
there's going to be, I don't know if anyone Guild Wars 2, but
yeah.
they basically have a set of skills you can choose from that everyone gets, and then you just put them in a skill bar.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
A little bit
That'd be
like
fun.
that. Yeah.
Oh, so you can mix and match. Is it like you can decide what you bring, or is it based on prerequisites?
You can decide what you bring. You've got like 7 slots where you can put anything in there, and then you've got 3 slots where you can put any sort of passives that you don't see in battle.
So you're a musician, but you didn't make the piano playable.
There's a lot of pianos in the game, actually.
Maybe it's Clarette. She doesn't know how to
I
play.
don't know. She'd probably just hit it with a wrench. That makes a
Yeah.
noise.
She might tune it up. That's about it.
Poor Chaska trying to play
Oh.
with her hand, slamming it in.
You're getting poison and goo all over my keyboard.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Bloody hell! I just cleaned that piano.
Sullivan would not have cleaned it. He would have had
You're
somebody
just
else
fine.
clean it.
To clean it, yeah.
Well, buy a new one. That's why she wrote it. I'm taking her reason because she wrote the guy. So therefore, she's
fair.
absolutely
Yeah, I
Right.
know exactly what.
Yeah.
she overrules us, unfortunately.
Drop one.
Chopstick MIDI file. Grander said. So we're sort of manning, just making it play a chopstick MIDI file. For the piano.
Right. Dun, 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 dun.
That's about my level of musical play on piano. And there's a mysterious man.
So mysterious.
Mm-hmm. Fly, you fools.
Yes, yes, big fan. So stylish. Much wow.
So red. I love red.
Yeah. Jump, climb, evade. Splash water. Break leg. Oh shit, they have wings. That's right. Bad plan, bad plan.
The worst Red Spectre ever.
Yeah. Now my knee. Oh. Oh.
20 minutes of that. You know what's criminal is your beauty.
Oh.
If
I
I'm
am
in a
not
game-
criminally beautiful.
If I'm in a game, it would just be a series of like skits I thought up,
Yeah.
very loosely put together,
Oh yeah.
with barely coherent story.
It would be more like a, like 1,000 5-second games.
Like 30-second hero.
Yeah. I got so distracted by the superhero there, I forgot where I was going. Down. That's right. I just wanted to follow the Red Spectre. So dashing. Squee!
So I think, unless we have anything else,
Oh, we hit our hour already?
48 minutes.
Oh my god. Jeez.
It's easy. Playing games is pretty easy to do that.
Right?
That's all I got.
Unless
Yeah, I
it's a
mean,
bad game.
I don't want to have
Take you
4
forever.
minutes of silence of just watching the game. I'm like,
It's hard not to watch it though. I'm sitting here watching it like, oh, I'm zoning out, watching someone play.
Nostalgia at this point.
Right?
This is why so many people watch Twitch, isn't it? You're just like, whoa.
Especially the games you never have time to play. You know,
Like the
there's-
ones you made, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. Toss it aside.
Well, it's like there's games out there that, you know, like even the RPG realm, JRPG, that are just, you know, they take too long. I don't have that time anymore. I'm not an adolescent without a job and a summer vacation.
I know, right?
Yeah, so.
I think I used to play Final Fantasy VII like every summer,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can't even comprehend like replaying a game. I'm like, who has time for that?
Well, they're coming out with a remake too. So,
Oh, I know. I died.
yeah, I can't wait for that.
They're supposed to be updating the battle system a little bit, though, I said. So we'll see what happens with that.
I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
I just want to watch it for the visuals, really.
Well, then tune in to DreamcoilTV on Twitch.tv. Because we'll probably be playing that.
I got my Elgato. It's sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Elgato is a card to capture PS4.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone that didn't know.
So, this has been Developer Let's Play with Phil and Brittany, the makers of Starbound. I mean, not Starbound. Skyborn. I've been doing that
Thanks for
all
the
day.
title for this game.
No problem. Absolutely. That's
You might
theirs
have a
too
problem,
now.
But you might have an
Skyborn.
issue on Steam, but go for it anyway.
Yeah. You should claim some of your profits, by the way, for that game. And Darth, go ahead. Anything you want to say?
No, I just want to thank you guys, gentlemen, ladies, for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you very
And-
much.
It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully maybe we can come revisit the game later. Well, not that game, but Echoes of Etheria, maybe
Yeah.
when it comes out.
Yes.
Great.
Sit down and,
Yeah.
look it
Come
over.
join us for
Hopefully-
that.
Yeah. But I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wallace, thank you. Becca,
Yeah.
thank you. Me,
I didn't do anything.
me, thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody in chat.
have a good one.